Hello everyone, this is Vic Benedict, and this is Dark Sector. I'm going to be completing this game on the brutal difficulty setting, which is available if you complete the campaign on normal mode, so I guess this would be hard mode. And this is a really good game. It's about 5 years old, and it's a third-person cover-based shooter, but my only problem with it, because it works really well, is that about halfway through the game it just starts disintegrating into this hack and slash game. And even though I love those types of games, there's only one button for the melee combat, and it's just really boring, and you're fighting the same enemies time and time again, just countless times. And if it remained the way it did in the first few chapters, it would be a really terrific game. I mean, it already is a good game. Like, before I even started this game, I had expectations of how it should actually play before I even started pressing the buttons and learning the controls. But basically, the way I wanted this game to work, it did right away. I mean, immediately, the controls felt very natural to me, the way they should. There's certain things that I wish were made differently, like there's no blind firing except if you're in cover, and there is also no shoulder swapping unless you're in cover. It's not actually a button you press, it's just that you have to move a different way with the left analog stick, and he'll move his shoulder, but that's how that works. And it's a tough game, it really is. And I'm going to enjoy playing this setting and enjoy taking you through the game. There is, you'll notice that this chapter's in black and white. Don't worry, it'll change to color in the next videos, but this is just a prologue. So this is not really a good representation of what this game is. Like this chapter, and I guess like starting with the next chapter when we have the blade, which is called the glaive. It's a three-pronged tool that you use as a sub-weapon. It's mainly used for combat, melee combat, solving puzzles, and bringing objects to you. It's called the steal move, S-T-E-A-L, stealing. It's similar to how stasis works, or not stasis, but the kinesis module does in Dead Space. But this game is kind of a combination of like Resident Evil, Gears of War, Dead Space. This game's like that, but it's its own unique game. I mean, it would be unfair to say it's like any of those. It just has familiar aspects from those games, and I'm not saying that this game copied it or anything. It's just that, you know, you recognize things in the game, like dragging objects to you, things like that. But it has a lot of unique aspects to it as far as the weapons, and it's a great title. It's just that I wish that it got a little it had more enemy assortment, definitely, and just the really boring melee combat, because you're either going to be running around shooting, going into cover, or you're just going to be meleeing with monsters later on down the road, and you do have to get into cover then too, because you have regenerative health in this game, so that's how that works. And the glaive, when we get it, it'll be a nice. It's really fun to use at first, but it does start to get boring. But there are many variants to it, and different things you can do with it, such as using the aftertouch where you're in first-person mode with the blade, like in Heavenly Sword. So you can actually put this game in the options. You can go to the 6-axis control. So if you want to move the glaive, you know, literally move the controller up and down, left and right, the way you want to go. I don't like doing that though. It's not as precise. So I would definitely recommend just taking that off and just manually moving it. So you can only have 2 weapons at any given time, and there's never any reason to, if there's no enemies around, there's no reason to pick up weapons, because once we get to the next chapter, the weapons will have governors, as they're called, on the weapons, which limit the amount of time you could actually use the weapon for. I think you get it. It might depend and vary a little bit, but it's normally like 15 or 20 seconds, and then the weapon will just, there's like a fuse inside of it, and then it just shorts out the weapon, and it just auto discards the weapon. I don't think you get damage, but the animation looks like you kind of do, but it's very negligible, and you don't get killed from it. So you'll have two weapons. Like for the majority of the campaign, like when we get into the meat of the game, when we're actually playing. And I wish you could have been this character with this mask the entire time. It just kind of feels not as serious and hardcore as when you're not using this mask here. And we could actually see the guy's face in the next chapter and forward. But I'm really hard to please about games, and this game, it's pretty goddamn good. That's what I will say about it. But you'll have two weapons at any given time. You'll have a frag grenade on the up button, and on the down button you'll have I think they're called Ephron grenades. They're like smoke grenades or poison grenades, like the ink grenades in Gears 2 and 3. So if you actually if you pick up a weapon, say you pick up a heavy machine gun, it doesn't substitute that weapon for what you have in your inventory. Say you already have some kind of a shotgun, or you'll have two main weapons, but anytime you pick up a weapon starting in the next chapter, there are governors on the weapon. So the weapon that whatever you pick up, and it's always advisable to pick up a weapon so you're not wasting your ammo. And by the way, ammo conservation is pretty important in this game. So a lot of the times, unfortunately, I'll be using the glaive so that I don't have to waste ammo. And the reason I don't really like to do that is because it's just kind of boring for the viewer, but I'll try to distribute it a little bit. And that's like the basics of this game. There is a lot of tutorials that I'll be telling you how to do, and upgrading weapons. There is reload canceling in this game, so just reload and then switch to the next weapon, so you don't have to actually do the reload. So it's really good. So this is, if you want to compare it to the roadie running Gears of War, that's what that is there. And once we plant that explosive right there, we're going to be doing somewhat of a boss battle. There's decent checkpoints in this game, and the loading times, they're so fast. They make The Last of Us loading times look slow, but such good loading times, really good. Okay, so we have a chopper up there. He's not going to be shooting at us quite yet. So we need to take out all the enemies in the vicinity, and then we'll take that thing out. But I'll show you how to actually use this, because it's kind of tricky to figure out how exactly you're supposed to target the helicopter. Essentially, all you're doing is holding on to the aim button, or excuse me, the fire button. I'm not sure which it is, but. So I just randomly came across this game. I was searching for third-person cover-based shooters, and somebody left a comment somewhere on some forum and said this game was good, so I checked it out, and it really is good. It's just that I wish it didn't disintegrate into this really boring type of hack and slash game. But even hack and slash, it's really stretching what that phrase means, because you think hack and slash, you think of other games like God of War, Ninja Gaiden, or Lords of Shadow, but this is, you're just pressing the O button. That's all you're doing, and you really can't do it too much either, because this mode you're going to get killed very quickly. But anyway, you're going to get a checkpoint over here, and what you want to do is just learn the pattern of the chopper, and I think it takes 4 shots to take it down. But what you have to do is lock onto it, and then make sure the circle gets to the smallest degree. So aim. Just keep aiming until it gets to that kind of circle, and then you'll actually shoot it. Right there, I accidentally discarded the weapon. I'm going to pick it back up, though. So just aim until... You'll hear it, too. Just it gets to that shape. Just a complete circle, and then let it go. It works pretty damn well. And I only died one time over here, so it's pretty manageable too. So once we take this guy out, I'll be seeing you guys in the next chapter. It's going to be called the... I don't know what it's called offhand, I'm sorry about that, but it's definitely chapter 2. So I'll see you there.